Police.
Hi, this is Jacob Gallmann. May I speak with Chief Tobias, please?
One moment.
Defiance, please.
Hi, this is Jacob Gallmann. May I speak with Chief Tobias, please?
Hold on.
Hello, this is Tim Tobias. Can I help you?
Hi, this is Jacob Gallmann again.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Hey, I spoke to the prosecutor, and
Oh, okay.
I got some definitions and some explanations of city ordinances and things like that, just so that I made sure I was correct in what my thought process was.
Okay.
Would you? I don't have time tonight, but
Okay.
your meeting is at 5:30. You say?
Yeah. Yeah, if you let us know a different time, I'm sure we can make it work. So.
Well, I mean, if you want to stop in here real quick and take the information to your meeting, you're more than welcome to. I even made some copies of stuff if you want it.
I don't know if I'll be able to do that while you're still up there. Is there any way you can leave it for me and I can come up there and ask for it or something?
Well, we can do that, but like I said, I'd like to.
Oh, like go over it and
stuff.
stuff.
What the prosecutor said, and I did run off some other things also, just because I thought it might be of interest to you.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, like, we've talked about, when you guys are on the sidewalks and stuff. I printed a thing up just so that you know. Let me see here. It's under obstructions.
Okay.
But it says here that no person alone or in concert with a group of persons shall stand or sit in the right-of-way for the purpose of obstructing the free passage of vehicles in the streets or pedestrians on the sidewalk.
Okay.
So you know that if you don't obstruct the sidewalks, then you can be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I made a copy of that just because I thought,
wow,
it's
that's
something
cool.
that you guys have done, and that way you know that as long as you don't block it, you're okay.
Okay, cool.
There is a, while I got you on the phone, there is a city ordinance.
Okay.
And it's 905.05, and the title of that is called Defacing Sidewalks.
Okay.
And then there's a semicolon that says spitting, because that's also included in this.
Okay.
But it says that no person shall deface or disfigure any sidewalk or part thereof. And if you look up what deface means, because like I said, I wanted to make sure that I was covered by what the prosecutor considers defacing a sidewalk.
Okay.
If you look it up in the dictionary, defacing is to mar the surface or appearance of, to disfigure. And then the example is to deface a wall by writing on it. That's considered defacing. So basically, writing on a sidewalk would be defacing the sidewalk, which is 905.05.
Well, I think the difference between the wall and the sidewalk would be you could easily remove the thing on the sidewalk, but the wall, not so much.
Well, defacing means marring any surface. That's what deface means. You can substitute wall with sidewalk. You can substitute it with building. You can substitute it with park bench.
I'm just not thinking that chalking and marring are I wouldn't consider that the same.
Okay. Well, that's what the prosecutor's telling me, okay?
Okay.
And basically, defacing sidewalks is what it would be. It's a minor misdemeanor.
Okay.
And, I mean, if I'm not going to tell you that you can't do it, and if you choose to go up there and do it, you could be cited to court for this ordinance, okay?
Okay.
So I want you to know that.
All right.
And then I also looked up basically who owns the sidewalks.
Okay.
According to the prosecutor,
all right,
the city of Defiance owns the sidewalks. They put the sidewalks there for the public travel.
Right.
The owners of the businesses are really, it says anybody who has a sidewalk that is adjacent to a roadway.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be like a house or business or whatever. If they have a sidewalk that runs alongside of a roadway, they have to maintain that sidewalk.
Right.
It doesn't say that they own the sidewalk.
Okay.
So the sidewalk is owned by the city of Defiance. It's put there for public travel.
Okay.
Kind of like the same as a roadway, I guess. Let's see here. Then 905.15.
Mm-hmm.
That just is the enforcement of the sections in the 900 part, and it says that the city administrator, in conjunction with the building and zoning commissioner, members of the police division shall be responsible for the enforcement of this chapter. So that means that the city administrator, the building and zoning commissioner, or the police department could enforce that section.
Okay.
So I ran that off. The prosecutor also said that he may look at this even further and maybe talk to the other prosecutor with the city to see if chalking the sidewalks would be considered criminal mischief, which would be a misdemeanor 3.
Wow.
But I think it would be under the sidewalk section. I don't think it would be under that one, but that's up to him. And then the other thing is, I ran this one off too. This one is 525.17, and this was from the other night. Refusal to disclose personal information in public place.
Okay.
Okay, this says, no person who is in a public place shall refuse to disclose the person's name, address, or date of birth when requested by a law enforcement officer who reasonably suspects either of the following. And the first one is, the person has committed, or is about to commit a criminal offense. So that's kind of broad.
Right.
On the end of that, because let's say that I'll just give you some examples. Let's say that it's 4 o'clock in the morning and we've had a rash of B&Es in a certain neighborhood, and there's a guy walking with a TV in his hand.
Right.
Okay, that could be considered. We would have to stop him that a crime has been committed or is about to be committed.
Right.
Then we can identify that person. If we know that they have committed a crime, of course they have to identify themselves. I mean, they have to give a truthful, I am so-and-so.
Right, but so in this situation it would be...
it would fall under that sidewalk ordinance. That's an ordinance that says you can't deface sidewalks. And then when he asks for everyone's name or to identify themselves, that's in case he decides to charge that person later on, that he has to have their names, date of birth, address.
It sounds like that's really kind of infirm standing to charge us with something, really. Not to be. It sounds like it's kind of loose interpretation of it to me. Like it's kind of like a really only partially legitimate way to charge us for something. Not to be offensive
no, I
or
don't
anything.
think that. Well, and I'll be honest with you. Most of the time, if an officer says, who are you? Most people just say, I'm so and so, and I'm from wherever. And
well, I told him who I was. I just didn't want to give him my ID card. I said my social security number and everything. I just didn't want to give him my ID card.
Yeah. Well, and so long as you're identifying yourself honestly and you give your address and date of birth, then that's what he can legally ask for.
Well, another thing was we asked him if we were being detained, and he said no. And then I said, well, then I would like to leave, and they said I couldn't leave. And to me, that's the same thing as being detained if you're not able to leave, right?
If he asks for your personal information,
right,
he has a right to gain that information from you, just in case there's going to be a charge from the marking of the sidewalks, which at this point, I'm going to tell you what I'd like to do.
Right.
Okay? I'm going to talk to Officer Williamson, okay, and I'm just going to tell him that, I think that, I think that there was we had a miscommunication at the Romney thing. Because I was speaking about the signs and blocking the sidewalk, I didn't answer or didn't mean to answer a question about chalking. So to me, that's a miscommunication between us, and now that we have discussed it, we're talking about the ordinances and we're talking about what we can and can't do. I don't think that there's any misunderstanding. But what I'm going to tell John is that at this point, it's already been done. It was done. It's done and over with, and we'll just consider it he talked to you. It's a warning, and a warning means that basically you understand the ordinances, or I can give you copies of these, okay,
right.
so that you have them if you want them.
Okay, yeah,
And then,
come get them sometime.
but if you decide that you're going to do that again, then we'll have to enforce that ordinance. Okay.
Okay. Well,
All right.
like, I mean, we are under the understanding that, even if you say that you weren't answering the chalk question, that we took it as though you were answering the question, and we did it with the understanding that we
and you're
were
saying
within
that
the
you
law.
misunderstood me.
And
I'm saying that I was answering. Somebody asked me, "Are our signs okay?" And I said, "So long as there's nothing vulgar on your signs, and you're not yelling at traffic going by or obstructing traffic or the sidewalk, then I don't have a problem with it."
Were you able
to
ask
me that question, and that's who I was talking to.
Were you able to take a look at the video of it?
I did.
And
somebody definitely asked the question about chalking a sidewalk.
Right.
But I never heard that. So when I was speaking, I was talking to whoever about their signs. I wasn't talking about chalk. I never heard the word chalk.
Okay.
And if I had, I mean, if somebody had stopped me again and said, "Hey, we would like to chalk the sidewalks. We want to do this," I probably honestly would have told you, "I don't think you can do that." I mean, like right off the cuff, I probably would have said, "I don't think you can do that. Let me look up the ordinance on that, and I'll get back with you." If you guys ever want to do anything, and you wonder if there's an ordinance, or you wonder where the line is, or whatever, I'll gladly answer your questions for you if I can, and if I can't answer it, I'll find the answer.
So would a child making a hopscotch thing in the same area, or someone else doing some other chalk thing of any kind
I didn't hear you.
Okay, if someone like a kid or anyone made like a hopscotch thing, or they drew something on the sidewalk, it's possible they could be charged with the same ordinance?
Yep.
Wow.
It's possible.
But not as likely.
You know what? There is some discretion in law enforcement. I won't lie to you there. I mean, the speed limit on Jefferson Avenue is 35 miles an hour. Okay. And some guys might stop a car that's doing 45 and give them a ticket, and some might give them a ticket at 49, but at 40 miles an hour they might give them a warning. You know what I mean? And so if a kid drew something like that on a sidewalk, and we might say, "You know what, you can't write on the sidewalks," we may give them a warning for that and not cite them to court. And also it depends on their age, because courts have an age of reasoning, basically, like when a kid knows right from wrong.
Right.
So there's a lot of things, I guess, that would fall into that question.
Okay.
But speaking to adults and explaining to you that there is definitely an ordinance, and it's the name of the ordinance is defacing sidewalks. I mean, there's no misunderstanding, I don't think. And like I said, I did speak to the prosecutor because I wanted to make sure that his interpretation, because he's the one that would have to prosecute a case in court. If he says, "No, I don't consider sidewalk chalk defacing a sidewalk," then I'm not going to cite somebody for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
so
he's not going to prosecute it.
So but has he indicated to you that that is his definition of defacing, that sidewalk chalking falls under that to him, or this? He
said his understanding of it would be, and that he would not have an issue with us citing somebody for that. Now, you also have to understand that anytime somebody is cited for speeding ticket, for let's say chalking on a sidewalk or drawing on a sidewalk, that could go to court, and it would be up to the judge.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the judge would decide, if that's correct or not correct.
Okay.
I mean, it's ultimately up to a judge.
Okay.
Unless the person goes in, impose bond. There's all that stuff too. But I mean, if somebody wanted to argue that point, then it would be up to the judge. So.
Okay,
for any time anybody's cited for anything.
So basically, it would come down to somebody in the courtroom to be saying something like, "I did chalk the sidewalk, but I don't feel that that's defacing," and then the judge would have to rule on whether it was or not.
Right.
Okay.
But do you really want it to go that far?
Oh no, I'm just
I mean,
asking.
I mean,
You know.
you guys. I mean, you got ways to get your message out there. I mean,
Right.
that was one way. It was,
Definitely.
that was an interesting way. But I mean, there's other ways too. I mean, you guys have, you've been out there and about
Right.
and done your thing. So, and I know that people have seen signs and things like that. So, I mean,
Okay.
that's worked well. But I can't give you ideas of what to do or what not to do.
Okay.
I'm not in that business, I guess.
Right.
But
there was another thing that that some of us wanted to ask about was that we had went to the station after we talked to Patrolman Williamson, and we wanted to ask what his name was so that we could, ask you about it later and tell, kind of relate what happened and see what, your take was on it, because at the time we thought
Right.
you were endorsing it and whatever. So,
Right.
but when he came in actually while we were in the lobby, and we asked him what his name was, and he wouldn't give it to us, and someone else told us that that was against procedure and that you're supposed to, tell someone what your name is if they ask you, basically.
So you were in the lobby at the police department?
Yeah, because it was after, we had been down there and he talked to us, and
Okay.
Martinez had talked to us and whatnot. Then we left. Then we came back up there because we're like, oh, we should find out who those guys were, so when we talk to you about it, we can, have more details to it and whatnot. And he actually came in before I had picked the phone up to ask, and he indicated that he wouldn't give it to us. And we're like, you're not going to help us? And he told us we had to use the phone if we needed help out there, basically.
Okay.
But
So,
the person, when I picked the phone up, told me right away. He just wasn't trying to give it to me at all.
okay, so the person that you were speaking to on the phone said what?
I said,
I'm sorry.
oh, okay.
You have a soft voice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Well, when I asked him, he said he wouldn't give us his name. He wanted to know why we wanted it, and we said because we were going to call the next day because we were under the impression that it was okay.
Okay.
And he said, you would know because of the report. And we're like, well, can't we get your name anyway? And he just walked through the door. So when I picked up the red phone there and asked the lady or receptionist or whoever that answers it, I told her what car number he drove, and she told me his name right away.
Okay.
But he wouldn't offer it to me.
Okay. The law says that we have to identify ourselves on our uniform with a name tag, or it has to be on our badge, one or the other. So some guys have it on their badge and some have it on a name tag.
Okay.
Everything that we do, I mean, anytime we have contact with somebody, whatever, it's all logged by that dispatch. The person that you picked up the phone and spoke to is a dispatcher that's out at the sheriff's department.
Okay.
So everything that we do is logged by the officer's name, unit number. It's all attached to that complaint. So, I mean, I think, I'm trying to think if I think our policy might say that, hang on a second.
Okay.
I'm going to find out for sure.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure it might be in our policy, but you might be on it. Come here a second. Policy on identifying officers when they say, what's your name? Is that a policy or is that a law? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, it's a policy. It's not a law that says we have to.
Right.
But our policy here is, I don't know why you wouldn't want to.
Right.
Because your name is attached to everything.
Right.
I mean, it's in the computer. It's in the database. It's cross-referenced 5 different ways. You know what I mean? There's no way that we wouldn't know who the officer was.
Okay.
But, we carry business cards.
Right.
We hand them out all the time to complainants, people that we may have contact with or speak to, or witnesses or whomever. We hand out business cards that have our name on them.
Okay.
So the only thing that we don't give out is like personal phone numbers, personal addresses, that type of thing.
Right.
But as far as a name, I mean, I can speak to him about that, though.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, if anybody has a complaint about me, I usually just give them my card because they're going to know who I am anyway.
Right.
So I'll save you a lot of trouble, and here's my business card,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I will. I'll speak to him, and I also want to talk to him about, because I know he sent the complaint down to the prosecutor for the prosecutor to decide on charges or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to talk. I mean, I'm going to talk to John and just say, consider it that they were given a warning and now they understand. And if they decide to go ahead and do it, they also understand that they may be cited to court. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, that's where we can definitely leave it. And I don't have a problem with somebody videotaping me.
Okay.
I mean, I really don't have an issue with that, because anything that I do, I would hope that I was professional and did it courteously and respectfully to anybody.
Right.
But if I have a couple people talking to me at the same time, I also don't want to be confused on what I was answering or whatever. And I think that's what happened, because I know I was talking to somebody about the signs and about not blocking the sidewalk, and I never heard the chalk thing. So,
Okay.
if you guys want to, do that, that's fine. Just let me know. I don't even mind if you just say, hey, do you mind if we record you? I don't ever care.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I like to know when I am.
Oh, all right.
But if not, I mean, that's okay too, because I would hope that, like I said, that I wouldn't ever put myself in a position to,
Yeah.
If I'm wrong or I don't know the answer, I'll tell somebody. You know what? I don't know the answer to that, but I'll find out the answer for you. And I'll get back to you or whatever if I can't answer it right then and there.
That's another thing we were curious about was it was our understanding that the law in Ohio was that you had the right to record any kind of conversation as long as one party in the conversation agrees to it. That was my understanding through the wiretapping laws or whatever.
The other thing too is, though, if somebody says, "Are you recording me?"
You have to tell them, basically. Right.
Right. So I mean, you would have to disclose that. And we, around here, at the police department, we have signs up everywhere.
Right, definitely.
Because we just have security cameras and stuff, so we want people to know that if you're in the lobby or you're in here or you're in there, you're being recorded.
Right.
And they're red signs, so we don't want anybody to not know that they're not being recorded.
Right. So, so if you're in a situation with a law enforcement person, if you're upfront about it, there shouldn't be any kind of legal issues of recording it as long as the recording
isn't. Doesn't obstruct what the officer's trying to do.
Right.
I mean, like let's say that he stopped a guy for an OVI or a DUI, okay, and he wants the guy to do balance tests or whatever. He's probably not going to let him carry his camcorder. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
There are some circumstances where an officer may say no, so long as he can articulate why he said no.
Okay.
Or let's say that an officer's he's struggling with a guy on the ground because the guy was resisting and they're trying to get him handcuffed, and somebody sticks a camera, kneels down right next to him, and puts a camera right in their face.
Right. That
would probably be interfering with that arrest. You know what I mean? And they have to be concerned about somebody getting hurt or being in the way or that type of thing. Now, if it's just a normal contact or from a distance or whatever, no, I don't think there's anything illegal about that. So
okay,
people do it all the time.
Right.
I mean, that's where all these videos come from on TV half the time. They come from a distance, and so long as I don't. It's really weird. I've seen some videos that were from like 3 different angles when an incident occurred, and if you look at the one angle, it's like, man, that looked really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy just got shot, and that looked really bad. But then you see it from a completely different angle, and then you see the guy reaching for a gun that was on his rear of, like on his back, in the crease of his back between his belt and his blue jeans. From one angle you can't see it. From another angle you can see it plain as day.
Right.
And that's from more than one person having a video camera.
Right, definitely.
So you look at it from one way, and I just hate to see, sometimes when it's kind of one angle and you only get that one view, and when you're not there, and people can editing things nowadays. I mean, my God, you can put somebody else's body, and it's crazy what you can do with editing. But I guess if somebody's videotaping, and I ask, hey, are you videotaping this? They should just say, yes, I am. I don't have an issue with it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure none of us would ever be secretive about it or anything.
Yeah, and I don't think you guys were out there. But like I said, I thought I was answering a question to somebody that was down a ways, and then I was like talking, and I was just like, I don't have a problem with the signs, and as long as there's nothing vulgar on them and you're not blocking the sidewalk, I got no issues, So, and I walked out there honestly because somebody complained.
Oh,
And I just
at
was
the
just going out there
rally.
to make sure everything was good. And I even asked the guy the sheriff's deputy that was standing there, and he's like, nope. He goes, they haven't done anything wrong. And I'm like, okay, good. You know,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the last you saw of me.
we always try to stay out of the way, you know.
Yeah,
So.
I know you do. I think you guys have done a good job of it. I really
Cool,
do.
thanks.
I know you're trying to get your message out there, and you know
Right.
you're passionate about what you do.
Just try to be respectful and lawful at the same time, also.
Yep,
So.
yep. And I think, you know what? I think when you're trying to get a message out too,
Mm-hmm.
and when you present it that way, then I think other people are more respectful of that too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
hopefully so.
So yeah. But did you want me to leave you copies of some of this stuff?
Sure, yeah. If you leave
Okay.
them, I'll definitely be. I just don't think that I'll be able to make it up there before 4 at all. So.
Oh, okay. Gosh, you know what? I don't have a second shift clerk.
Oh well, crap. I'm off on Thursday. Maybe I can come in on Thursday and get
All
it.
right. I'll just hang on to it then, and then when you come in, I'll get it to you.
Okay, cool.
All right. Sound good?
All right.
All right. Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.